Hello, may I help you? Well, clearly you can tell by the sign that that's not what this is. Oh, I forgot you can't read that. You're on the wrong astral plane. You need to go to the other side over there. I don't have that here. Plastic straws. You look like the type that would buy plastic straws. You probably just buy them to make a video with and then do whatever you do with plastic straws. Please, your aura it's infecting me. Please go over there. Look at that. Oh, it's good to see you too. I figured you'd be here. We all kind of figured you would be here. Yeah. So, have a seat. What do you have today? I suppose you're here to try to sell some of your wares here. Well, first of all, we haven't been properly introduced. Now, I know who you are. Yeah, I know you tell everybody to call you Harvest. We know better than that, don't we? I can tell by the alignment of your face that you are a big fat liar. Well, see, your face is not in harmony with the rest of you. Hasn't anyone ever told you that? Your healer hasn't ever mentioned it? I'm sure you have one. Maybe if you went with a healer who didn't sell meat out of the trunk of his car, you'd get a more reputable associate to help you out. You are clearly a liar. It shows. Well, I'm not going to tell you. If you don't know by now what it is about you that makes you out to be one, you are very false. I'm certainly not going to tell you. I don't give away my gifts and my talents for free, as I'm sure you don't. So, oh, you have what? Oh, what a hideous bag. Is it coming out of there? Well, you better, let's just get it over with. Here, let me help you. I don't actually want to touch it. Oh, it's a scroll. How original. You're only the fourth person this morning to bring me a scroll. It's actually charming how unique you think you are. Oh, and you wrote it in Sanskrit. I'm sure that was a boo-boo. I'm sure you didn't actually mean to do that. Yes, sometimes you just forget and write out your scroll resume in Sanskrit. Well, first off, the scroll itself deserves critique. And before we even start on the scroll, can I just mention something? You seem to smile a lot, and you have this sort of self-important smirk that you do. You can drop that now. Okay, I don't appreciate that. It's insincere and it's demeaning. And the only people who get to be demeaning and insincere are people who are better than other people. So once you sat at my seat at my table, you lost that privilege. You are no longer superior. You no longer have the ability to be demeaning to me. So you can wipe that little smirk off your wrinkled face. Thank you. And I want you to keep it off. If you need help keeping it off, let me know. And then we can talk about your clothes. And that should do it. So let's take a look at your accidentally written in Sanskrit scroll. There's a typo on here. Yeah. No, I know you didn't write it. No, the lines are too perfect. And I see how you deliberately tried to make it look imperfect like you wrote it. You typed this. You're not fooling me. You may fool a lot of these fake, crunchy people here. You're not fooling me. There's been a lot of talk about you around the drum circle, and we know who you are. Karen. Yeah, first of all, why this scroll? Why would you even need to write any of these things down? Okay, well, we're not going to go over your qualifications. I think this is a poor use of repurposed resources, first of all. What did you make this from? Repurposed papyrus? That's almost criminal. You know that? Do you know how much deforestation occurs because of people misusing repurposed papyrus? I will have you know that I spent 2 entire summers making thatched huts out of repurposed papyrus instead of wasting it on pretentious scrolls like some people do. Yeah, I'm just saying in the future you might want to rethink the way you repurpose your materials because your choices are unwise. Your cardigan is very unwise. I suppose you made that. You probably have a very smug story to go along with it, don't you? No, I don't actually want to hear it. I'm not particularly interested in your stories. Come closer. You had a cheeseburger on August 30th, 2017. Don't deny it. Don't deny it. And I sense that somewhere around here is the vessel for that cheeseburger. It was in a container. Am I wrong? I know I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong. It's a blessing. It's actually a wonderful thing that you came here today. It is, truly. You came to a blank piece of paper. Oh. You haven't ascended to the next astral plane. I keep forgetting that so many people here have not ascended. See, once you ascend, you get an amulet. You get a special piece just like this. But only certain people can traverse to that other astral plane. I don't think you're ever going to make it. It's nothing personal. Well, I guess it's actually all personal. You will never ascend. So let me read this for you. Luci's registration table. Can you see it now? Sometimes when a more elevated person, a more evolved person instructs a lower being like yourself, you can actually read it. You can't read it? Really? Oh, you sort of can? No, honey, either you can or you can't. And that's why I say you will never ascend, because you are not, your constitution is too plebeian, for lack of a better word. You're too bourgeoisie, first of all. Look at your shoes. Oh, yeah, that's very nice, darling, but it's not a good use for old plastic drinking bottles. First of all, you shouldn't have that plastic coming into contact with your skin. The very fact that you would even get near that plastic tells me all I need to know about you. Only evil people touch plastic. You should know that. You preach it to everyone, but you don't live what you preach. And that was the topic of conversation around the drum circle last night. You go about our community and you tell everyone what they're supposed to be doing, but you're not doing it. You are a vile, I mean this in the best way, truly, you are a vile human being. Do you prefer that I call you Harvest? Or I'm not fond of that name myself, because harvest to me implies taking of the earth and consuming the goods, which is, as we all know, wrong. But I'm sure, the fact that you will never ascend, you will never fully understand that. So this is Luci's registration table. I'm not going to shake your hand because you have BPA all over you. I can see it. It's an aura. Some people have like a purple aura or a crystal aura. You have a BPA and an MSG aura, and I don't want you touching me because you are completely infected with the world and consumerism, and I can't touch you. But I will show you my hand and my rings. And that is my way of greeting you. I will not fist bump you. Put that away. My name is Lucifer, but you can call me Lucy. That's what everyone calls me. I didn't pick a silly name like yours. I think Karen suits you much better. You kind of look like a Karen. You look like all you need is a minivan and a poodle and a Starbucks cup, and you're set. You totally are. You're wearing a costume, Harvest. Your whole life is a costume. Everything about you is phony. You're like Halloween, but it's every day. Okay. Well, anyway, I will give you a chance because I believe in giving everyone a chance, even unworthy people. It's a flaw of mine. Once you ascend to the next astral plane, you become much more compassionate and forgiving, and you learn that even lower people like you deserve a little bit of consideration. So I will at least take a look at what you have, and then I'll decide what happens after that. Does that sound fair? I don't need to hear that. Littles? Are you saying that you have littles? It sounds like an ownership situation to me. Oh, you share your space with littles. That's what I understand you used to say, and then you started referring to them as your littles. We don't own littles. That's rule number 1. Okay? If you want to live in this space, that's rule number 1. We don't have littles. You make them sound like possessions. I don't care how many weeks old they are. The littles that I share my space with, I know their ages by hours. And let me tell you, my 800-hour-old little that shares my space made this sign for me. What could the littles who share your space do at that age? In fact, that little right now is out teaching a class in your precious Sanskrit at the community college right now. So you talk about how being a mommy is so important. My theory is if you were actually a good mommy, they wouldn't need you for so long. They would already be out living productive lives. 800 hours old is more than enough. I mean, that's, as you're so fond of saying, I'm sure you're doing your best. It's really not your fault that you're just not up to it. But let's forget about the littles. What are their names? Haven. One of them is named Haven. So you couldn't even take the time to think of a name that sounded different from your fake name? Is that a real name? Haven? Well, let's hoping that Haven can find a safe haven to get away from this smother. You're not even a mother, you're like a smother. So, maybe that's why they spend so much time in, where did you say, Barbados and Guyana? Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they would prefer to go build canoes and dig wells to get away from the smother in their own home. Yeah, I mean, it's just, certainly, of course, I wouldn't know, except that I do have telepathy and I can read thoughts of any living being on this planet. So maybe I do know. Smother. What's the other one's name? Ngi? No, I did not pronounce it wrong. Ngi? I said it absolutely right. It's with the front of the throat. You're pronouncing it wrong. It's Ngi. I offer classes on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. on the proper. See, stop. You cannot hyperventilate here. I do not have a paper bag for you. The proper pronunciation of your child's name. Come to my house at 4 p.m. on Tuesday and we'll go over it. Front of the throat. Ngi. No, that's completely wrong. You've been pronouncing his name wrong for how many weeks? Yeah, that's a lot of weeks to pronounce it incorrectly. The front of the throat. Now, I don't want to hear it anymore. Tuesday at 4. You can pick up my address from the atmosphere if you just learn to come into contact with Mother Earth and the surrounding auras. That's all you have to do. It's very simple. I don't have to give you my address. You should already know it. Once you become one with the universe and you learn to converse with the spirits and the forces that guide us, you don't need to ask for information like street addresses and things like that. It's silly. Like all these sad people with their cell phones. Of course, they're never going to be able to communicate effectively. I'm sure you don't have a cell phone. There's something blinking in your purse, just so you know. think you got a notification on your non-existent cell phone. So what do you have that you supposedly want to sell at my market today? Well, you have a nice wooden crate full of stuff there. What have you got first here? Let me see. Let me see. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? You never cease to amaze me. I'm not a regular mom. I'm a woke mom. Really? Hello? Do you hear how hollow that is? That's your soul. That's your soul. This cup is as hollow as your spirit. I love how you've done it up in this beautiful pink festive lettering, though. That's very nice. Let me guess. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I know. You made this on your loom, didn't you? I knew you were going to say that. Well, no, I'm not going to be giving this back, and we're not going to be selling this here. That's going in the incinerator. We don't promote the idea of, first of all, saying things that aren't true. You are a regular mom. You're a regular mom in disguise, but you don't fool truly attached and awake people like myself. You don't fool Lucifer. You may fool everyone else, but you're not going to fool me. You are not a woke mom. You are a regular mom missing her minivan with the tech package and your Starbucks and your frosted hair, which desperately needs something. I mean, what is going on with that? So, no, we don't promote the idea of drinking liquids here either. A truly blessed and awake person does not need liquids. We draw everything we need from the air. There's no need to drink liquids. It's silly. No, we don't promote that, because that is water. Those are liquids that could be used for other creatures, and I think it is very selfish of you to take them like that. I bet you do it on a regular basis. See, you nance around town. We see you all the time on your little bicycle made of bamboo, and you promote yourself as this wonderful earth thing. What do you call yourself anyway, Harvest? What are you? An earth mother? I don't think so. No, you're definitely not an earth mother. Well, you're a mother and you live on the earth, but that's about where the similarities end. You are a heartless, gutless consumer who's too ashamed to really show her consumerism to anyone, even herself. So I'm not going to let you make any more of these on your loom. First of all, we need to talk about your loom dependence. You have what I refer to as loom addiction. I can see it in your hands. They're shaking like this. They're trembling because you miss your loom, don't you? You spend a lot of time on your loom. Oh, since Fisher went away. When did Fisher go away? Oh, he's been away for basically several years now. Yeah, see, there's another thing. When you become, well, you never will, but if you were able to become like me, maybe your husband wouldn't have to be gone all the time in order to keep a smile on his face. I mean, but again, like you say, I'm sure you're doing your best. And yeah, thank God for the Argentinian sand flea, right? He's down there saving them. And all those body shots of tequila in the bar, I'm sure they're going to do so much good for the Argentinian sand flea. And it's a good thing he has all those hot assistants. So, but unfortunately, maybe in another life, in a parallel universe somewhere, little Harvest here could keep her husband happy and at home, but not here. So unfortunately, you are left to sort of flap about like a fish out of water and try desperately to convince everyone that you're superior when we both know you're not. Yeah, so anyway, humor me. Show me something else that you have that you made. Because we only allow people to sell handmade goods here. We don't want any of that mass-produced garbage in here. Okay, we don't touch those things. We don't believe in plastic. We certainly don't believe in disposable items. You know that gives you cancer. Okay, you did know that. Okay, good. Especially those straws. Oh. Do you know there are people out there in this world, and I'm not making this up, there are people out there who would buy those plastic bendy straws just to make a YouTube video. It's evil. It's diabolical. Oh my God. Yeah, they have to be stopped, truly. But we're going to have to focus on this right now because you are a much more urgent topic of discussion. Another loom item, I suppose. Okay, about your loom dependence. I guess it's all right for a novice. I mean, I clearly see some flaw. You've been looming for how long? 8 years? And you're no better than this? If I were you, I'd give it up. Because this is substandard work. So here's what you can do. That's going in the furnace too. Here's what you can do once you ascend, like I have. I don't even need a loom. And you can shed your loom dependence. All you have to do, you just close your eyes, take a deep cleansing breath from the earth, and imagine how things should be. You imagine the perfect thing. And it just appears. Now look at this. I made this using my mind, Harvest. I don't need materials. I certainly don't need your crutch of a loom, your enabler, which is all your loom is. Look at how nice that is. Even you have to admit that this is way nicer than anything you've made lately. And I'm counting the clothes you have on right now because this tea towel right here, you would look much better wearing this material than this woven nightmare that you have on here. I mean, what is that? It doesn't even fit you properly. I mean, what is it? A caftan? Can't. That's what I would call it. It's bad. It's bad, Harvest. Look. But if you could ascend like I have and so many other people here who talk about you a lot, if you could ascend like we did, you could make things like this just using your mind. Oh, touch it. Sure. Touch that. Feel that. Isn't it heavenly? Indistinguishable from Turkish. Perfect. Beautiful. Colorful. Joyful. It's like the opposite of everything you are. I mean, you're so bland, aren't you? You're very brown. All of your clothes are beige and brown. Your hair is like dishwater. I don't know what to tell you. You give truly enlightened people a bad name, and we don't really appreciate it. I mean, we have to live in the wake of your terrible choices, Harvest. And it's not fair. It's not fair. Oh, you grew something? We don't allow that here. We don't allow grown things in here. Like you're wanting to sell produce, I guess, like vegetables. Well, out of the kindness of my heart, I'll take a look at them, but then we need to discuss it. These are tomatoes, I guess. It's been a long time since I actually saw one. We don't actually eat, so it's actually sort of offensive to bring this here. When you grow these, there are seeds in here. This is the embodiment of potential. These tomatoes, they are the embodiment of potential. And they want to become more tomatoes. They want to go back into the ground and become tomato plants. When you eat them, you put a stop to that. And this could be food for other animals. you're taking food out of other animals' mouths, possibly. At the very least, you're keeping them from becoming more tomato plants. And that's just wrong. Now, I'm not going to put these in the incinerator because it's not fair. You take these tomatoes back home and you put them in the ground. All right? You put them wherever they need to be to grow into tomato plants. See, we don't eat. We don't consume food. We don't consume liquids because those are things that other creatures on this planet desperately need. We don't need them because once you ascend, you can draw all of that from the universe around you. Do you see what I mean when I say that you have so much to learn? I don't like to reference this sort of stuff, but have you ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger Effect? Basically, it's when you know so little that you're convinced you know everything. You don't know enough to know what you don't know. You are a victim of that, Harvest. And I would like to hope that you would take this opportunity to start on your path. Now, you will never transcend. I know you never will. I mean, look at you. This body's going nowhere. It's been going nowhere for years, clearly, but you will never transcend. But that doesn't stop you from maximizing your potential here on this astral plane. You may always need to consume food or water. I mean, we can't all be perfect. Well, I can. You cannot. But I encourage you to speak to the atmosphere. Get my address. Come to my home. Look to the sun for the time. You certainly don't need you're wearing a watch. But I guess when people are blind, they have to rely on things like that to help them get through the day. And that's essentially what you have, your watch, your non-existent cell phone that is still blinking, by the way. I see how you tried to cover it up with that stack of hacky sacks in your purse. I can still see it blinking. So you have to use these tools to get through life. I understand that. But speak to the universe. See if you can transcend just a little. Just a little. Keep that smirk off your face. Stop giving everyone that condescending smile. And remember that you need to listen more than you talk. Because it certainly seems that you talk a lot. And as I said, those of us in the community who are genuine, we have to live in the wake of your disastrous existence. And it's not fair. It's truly not fair. And it's time that it came to an end. Oh, you have something else? You keep sniffing this. Has it touched your nose? Why do you keep sniffing soap? What does it do for you? It smells like pine cleaner. It's made from pine sap. You killed a perfectly good tree and used part of it to make soap? No, that certainly cannot be used here. No, you're going about it the wrong way. All right, that pine tree did nothing to deserve this. I'm going to put that in the incinerator too. Let me show you the proper way to clean yourself. You don't use soap. No. So you just close your eyes. Take a deep... Oh, there's no need for you to do it, honey. It's not going to work for you because clearly... Voila. This is a pine cone. Well, I didn't think that you didn't know what it was. I was just letting you know. You can see how it sparkles. This is made from repurposed papaya oil. And you see all the seeds are gone. So the seeds have been spent. They have been distributed. This is what you use. I got this from the unicorn forest on another plane. It is using no resources that anyone else would need. You simply use this. There's no need for soap. You can clean yourself very easily with this sparkly pine cone. What do you mean you think that's ridiculous? Well, you would think it's ridiculous because, well, you're Harvest and we know what that means. No, well, maybe one day you will be evolved to the point where you can understand the purpose of the sparkly pine cone. In the meantime, don't touch it because you'll get BPA on it. All right? Did you have something else? Oh, there's more. Okay. No, no. It's fine. It's fine. How much more could you possibly have in there? You know, by the way, that wood, I think the use of wood is kind of vulgar, but don't worry about why it's vulgar. You wouldn't understand it anyway. That's it. What is this supposed to be? Oh, no. That was the vessel for the cheeseburger. You keep that. I will definitely not sell that here. It has cheeseburger cheese, and I will not touch that. Ugh. Truly horrible. How could you bring cheeseburger cheese into my facility? You're a vile woman. You're a vile woman. I can do better than that. See your little rinky-dink purse? Now we're talking. Mine is much bigger, clearly better. It even has a divider on the inside. Yours didn't have a divider. My lacing is superior. The string is made from repurposed moth dust. It's very, very durable. No, this is not bark. No, no. This is reclaimed deionized stream fluid. This is not bark. I would never harm a tree. There's never a good reason to harm a tree. Isn't it beautiful? It's clearly superior to yours. So I will be selling these in this facility today. Yours needs to go in the incinerator immediately. I'm going to have you go do that in a minute. Well, let me show you what else I can do. So I guess that's your purse. That's like a purse that you want to sell. Did you make that on your loom? Oh, well, I guess you try your best, don't you, Harvest? Again, I say, you have this loom dependency, and it's not becoming. I mean, if that's your answer to everything comes from the loom, it gets old after a while. Nobody wants to hear that. No one believes you anyway. And by the way, just between us, if you're going to sneak about the flea market and buy these items, you might want to find a better costume. Yeah, we all know that when you go, you dress up like a witch, and we know it's you. So we know that you're not making these things on your loom. They're cheap, mass-produced items that you buy at the flea market on Saturday mornings. We know because we were out on a spirit walk and we saw you. So you might want to find a better costume in the future to really hide. Like, why don't you take off the costume you have on now and just become the, middle-class female that you were destined to be at birth, Karen, because that's all you are. Your littles and Fisher may really appreciate that if you just come back down to earth, because you're never going to transcend anyway. So maybe it's time to stop and give it up. But you're the only one who can do that. Let me show you another purse I can make. Look at this. I bet you can't make this on your loom. Look at that. No, I willed it into existence. I willed it to be so. This is made of no resources, no materials. This is stardust, just like I have on my fingers. I use the power of magnetism to attract it to my essence, and then I form it into a pleasing shape. Unfortunately, you will never be able to do this. And I really hate that for you. Look at the pretty stripes, all the colors, all the vibrant colors, and you have no vibrant colors in your life. It's just sad. So, no, you can't touch it. Remember BPA, MSG? No, unfortunately, you're kind of gross, and I can't have it. No, I'm not. One more thing. I know you can't go yet. I'm not ready to let you go. You will not be able to remove yourself from that spot until I release you. I have not released you yet. Look at this. How about that? Karen, harvest. Look what I just made. Not a single plant was harmed in the creation of this bouquet. Not a single resource on this plane of existence was consumed. Clearly, I am superior. I mean, anyone who consumes resources is not superior. You are inferior as the day is long, harvest. And the sad thing is, there's no hope that you will ever really get any better. So, no, you can't touch these. No, I will not permit it. These are some of the things that I will be selling in the facility today. And maybe if you can decontaminate your money, I'll let you buy some. But not knowing what is touching it, I might be a little hesitant. Maybe you can get someone else to come pay me if you see anything here that you think you're worthy of. All right, well, I want you to go take your things. There's a furnace right by the front door because we have a lot of posers like you come in, and we do have to have them pitch things in the furnace pretty frequently. So if you would just take your things, put them back in the crate, throw the furnace in the crate too, because it's contaminated with terrible woo, and there is no woo. There is no existence, harvest. You don't exist. And but don't throw yourself in the furnace. There may be hope for you yet. Remember, Tuesday at 4. Look to the heavens for my address. And once you have evolved enough to pick it up from the atmosphere, you will. I'm convinced that you will. In the meantime, I guess you're just destined to wander the earth, seeing the truth for the first time. Anyway, I hope I will be hearing from you soon, and I wish you all the best, harvest. Namaste, bitch.